What is going on, people? Okay, 2018 Lunar Eclipse, it's here. Thank you so much. Over 3,000 subscribers. Got to give the love to you guys. I've just recently released the Lunar Eclipse video that's making its way around, and the knowledge is spreading. And today I figured, hey, why don't I catch a live stream of it? And the funny thing is that I can't. I'm seeing old replays of what happened, but nothing that's happening live right now. And I go onto the NASA website here, and I notice that they're going live about some other stuff. Look.
Tiny little spacecraft. There's 8 spacecraft packed on this.
So it doesn't seem like they're really concerned with this right now. I mean, I went on to the NASA live, and this isn't going to be a long presentation, but I went to the NASA live website, and they have this broadcasting. You know, you'd think in this day and age, we would be able to have, I mean, it's 2013, we give $60 million a day to the space program, and we have no live orbit feed of what's happening right now. This is supposed to be a monumental day, you know, a very rare thing, a blue blood moon, and it's a super moon too, so it's very close to the Earth. So why aren't there any satellites following this? I mean, if we have a bunch of satellites up there, you know how much they show us. I'm going to type it in right now. You see the images that we get of how many satellites there are, but then you read the background behind it, and they say that it is an artist's depiction. Like right here. Hold on, let me share. Am I sharing this right now? Let's see. Right in the bottom corner here. Yeah, right in the bottom corner here. Artist's impression. Size of debris exaggerated as compared to the Earth. So that doesn't matter. I'm not concerned with the size of these satellites. I'm just concerned that we can't see them anywhere in any of the spacewalks or any of the live feeds of anything that's happening. We don't see these. We don't see these come in between the moon. You know what I mean? We see them transit. We see a light, but that's just a weather balloon, you know, taking pictures. This is just an artist's impression. We have no real photo of the Earth with all of these satellites in it. You know what I mean? If we look at let's say Earth from moon, which is something I'm going to get to also, we don't see all these satellites, all these little glares of light hitting the sun rays. So that's just one question I have. This is discrepancies. This is what this live stream is about, and I am just going through each and everything that I find is, you know, not lining up. Now let's look at the tides. This is a website called Fisheries and Oceans Canada. So it's like a official website. Okay. Right here we have the predictions or whatever in the history, so we can type in the calendar what we want to see. I brought up January 2018, the 29th. Okay, it's the 29th today. Well, no, that's the day I want to start it on. And we're going to go through till here today, Wednesday, and we're going to go even further to see what they predict. Now, if we look at today, Wednesday, this is supposed to be when the moon, because if we come here, super blue blood moon. This is NASA's website, okay? The January 31st full moon is special for 3 reasons, okay? Now, as I said, it's special. Now this is special for 3 reasons, and there's no satellites orbiting it, giving us a live feed of this. Why isn't it going around and showing us exactly what it's doing? It says it's the 3rd in a series of supermoons when the moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit, known as its perigee, about 14% brighter than usual. Okay? So if we come here to the tides, we see that today, when the super blue blood moon, when it's closer to the Earth in its perigee, in its elliptical orbit, the height of the tides, and this is in Vancouver, and they said that if you live if you live in the western part of North America, Alaska, I'm wondering why isn't Alaska considered part of North America? That makes me question things. And the Hawaiian Islands, they should have just said western part of North America in the Pacific, East Pacific. You might set your alarm early morning because that's when it's going to come up, January, okay, 31st, okay? Now, the 31st is here, and this is in Vancouver, western part of North America. It said that the height of the tides in feet are 15 feet at 6 a.m., and then at 11, 10 feet, so it drops. And then at 4 o'clock p.m., 1642, it rises to its height, or it rises again to its secondary height, and then back at around 11 p.m. at nighttime, it goes back down to 1 foot. So that's the lowest tide. But if we look before it, we're seeing relatively same numbers. Okay, so 14, 11, 14, 1. This is 15, 10, 14, 1. Okay, if we look here, 15, this is Tuesday, 15, 10, 14, 1. Today, 15, 10, 14, 1. Tomorrow, 16, 9, 5, 14, 16, 8, 9, 13, 16, 13. I'm seeing highs that are higher than the perigee should be. I mean, if this is a super moon, I mean, think about it. If it's the third in a series of supermoons and it's been collecting the water, been drawing it, been getting closer, then and it's a very special event. I'm wondering why the tides are going to be acting like this. Why they stay moderate, and why do the tides rise twice? If the moon is going with the spin of the Earth, just a little bit slower. Well, I mean, the speed is fast, but we're perceiving it slower. Then it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be moderate like this. It should be grabbing all the water and rising it up, especially when it's very close. Now, let me just move on because I wanted to talk about the East and West Coast. Now, this is North America here, and this is here you have Mexico in here, and then you got the Western Seaboard, and that's like California and Vancouver. And then you got the East here, Canada, and then you can even see beyond to other lands over here. It looks like they got England over here. So then we go over here. Hawaii would be somewhere over here. Okay. Now, in this picture, you could see what is able to see the moon. We could see that what's over here on the east can still see the moon. And what's over here in the west obviously can still see the moon. Now, if we look up a picture, Earth from moon. Yeah, okay. Earth from moon. If we go to the Earth from the moon, I hope you guys are good out there. Hope everybody's keeping well, taking care of themselves, no matter what you believe in, as long as it's peaceful. So we can get a good idea of how much of the Earth would be able to see the moon. Okay, because we're supposedly standing on the moon, and we're looking back, and we're seeing from such a far distance, over 200,000 miles away, we are seeing this whole half of the globe. Excuse me, I'm just taking a drink. Thank you. So what I'm getting at is when they say that no eclipse is visible here, all over the Atlantic, because it doesn't start there, right? It starts eclipsing here. But what I'm saying is we're seeing the spread of what the people should be able to see. And we're saying, and it says up here, if you live in the western part, then you're going to be able to see it. And then if you live on the eastern part of the world, you'll be able to see it's ending. Okay, you'll be able to see the eclipse coming out. So they're saying it's going to wrap. Where is it? Right here. They're saying that it's going to start and it's going to wrap around, and then by the time it comes back on itself, it's gonna be over. You know, it only lasts a day. This thing. Okay, this rare event that's not being covered by NASA. We're seeing how much of the people on the Earth should be able to see the moon in their sky, and that's like half of the Earth. And then when we come to what NASA tells us, they say only parts of the Earth should see it, and in the western part of North America. But if we come here, we're seeing, if we look at this supposed lunar transit, it doesn't take much to see that many more people on the Earth should have an opportunity to witness this event. But what's happening is that because the moon is low and overhead of us, because the moon is low and overhead of us, not everybody can perceive it at once. Okay, so the moon is making its way. See, now this makes a lot more sense. The moon is small and very high up, higher than the sun, I believe. And as it's moving its way westwardly, it's going out of our view. It's carrying its light with it, and it's going out of our view, making only a select portion of the world able to see it. Okay. Now, some other discrepancies I have. Some other discrepancies I have, other than the tides and all that, is the shape of the shadow. Now I'm going to revert back to my video that I've put out, and we don't witness any warping or stretching of the moon's shadow or of the Earth's shadow over the moon. And now a lot of people have commented on this and have said that, well, the scale is all off. Well, in conjunction to how small my space was and how far away the light was, I had to make do with what I had. And what I did to keep it as accurate as I could is I used the shadow's gradient. You see how the shadow fades from dark to light? I used that shadow's gradient that we see at the eclipse to judge, how far away it is from the object. You know what I mean? Because the closer you get to an object, the sharper the shadow is. The further you get and the closer to the light source, the more scattered the shadow is. Okay, that's light diffusion. That's what I talk about in this video. So as you can see, as I'm moving it over this disc, this is exactly what we're seeing. I mean, I don't know what you guys notice, but what I'm seeing is a shadow moving over a disc, or at least a shadow moving in front of a sphere. If the moon is a sphere or it's a disc or whatever, what I would say is there is a darker object moving in front of the moon, because a translucent body of sorts. You know what I mean? Because they're talking about red shadows and blue shadows, and we look on our ground and we don't see this. So as we can see, it kind of looks discus to me. I mean, that's a major discrepancy. Whereas on a sphere, look how the shadow even enters on the sphere on the right. It enters small with distortion, and people are saying in the video, oh well, it's distorted because you're looking at it from the side and not straight on. Well, yeah, on the Earth, on the globe model, it's saying that only people in certain regions can see it. So the further away you get from it, obviously you're going to be looking at an angle. For some, the eclipse is going to be right overhead. For some, it's going to be, way far off in the east or the west. Okay, so, and if it's a ball, well, there should be, some evidence of that with the curvature and everything like that on the eclipse, on what we're seeing with the shadow. So if I bring it back to the experiment I did, the live test that I did, I noticed that the shadow looks nothing like it would as if it's moving over a sphere. Look at that. Look how it cones back up. Hey, look at all these anomalies. Look at this S shape here. People will say that's only happens because you're on the side. Well, yes, many people are on the side. You know what I mean? It's not overhead from everybody. Why would you expect the moon, which is over 200,000 miles away, and like one third the time, one fourth, one third times the size of the Earth? Why don't you think that a mass amounts of people would be able to see this at once? Why do you think that it only works if you're right under it? Doesn't that show you that the moon is small and close? I mean, if you look on the right and we see how a shadow moves over a disk or over the moon, and we compare it to how it's moving over this ball, well, then it doesn't really matter what angle you're looking at it. It's always going to have some sort of distortion. Okay, it's always going to have some sort of distortion, whether it's sharper, like right here when you see how this is a sphere, this is the shadow of a sphere, okay, and the light is way overhead, and I am projecting a sphere onto this sphere. Now I'm looking at it, and already we see how coned up this circle is. I mean, look how broad this circle is here, and that's the shadow of the ball that I'm holding. And then as soon as it comes on, because it bevels out and the curvature, it's only catching this part of the shadow, this much of it. So see how this much is being cut off? That correlates with the size of this right now. It's cutting off. The sphere right here is cutting off the shadow right here, and it's being projected onto here. So as we move over, it'll get wider. It gets wider and wider. It opens up and starts to show the true shape of what it is that is moving over it, which never happens on the eclipse, as I showed you. I'm going to bring it back. I mean, this is all on top of the fact that the moon's light is a different color, and the moon's light is a different temperature, because yes, we have measured with digital thermometers the moon's light, and we have found out that if you're in the shade, standing outside of the moon's light, then it is actually warmer than the moonlight. The moonlight is colder, and you can actually feel it on your face. I'm just going to take another drink. Excuse me. Thank you. So as we see, the sphere turns completely red. You know what I mean? It's never gone, blue in front of us or orange or whatever. It just goes red. They say it's because, it's slowing down the light rays and whatever. But we don't see this intensity of red on our Earth. So, there's a lot of questions out there, guys, not to mention the fact that, we should have a bunch of Earth shine on the moon. So we should never have a new moon at night. You know what I mean? The new moon cycle, lunar cycle. The new moon cycle lasts. Everybody was commenting on this. The new moon cycle, it lasts for longer than, a day. It's or 12 hours. They say, at daytime, the new moon, you can't see it because the sun's light blocking it out. Well, this is September 2015, and you can find many more up to date. I just clicked on any picture, and you can see that the eclipse lasts for more than 1 day. So at some point, the lunar phase of the new moon lasts for more than 1 day. So at some point at nighttime, we should see a dull moon as it is depicted here. Exactly. I have no problem with this depiction right here, because that would mean that the Earth, right, is bouncing its light onto the moon and making it dim, never making it completely black. So, you know, I said I promised this wouldn't be a long live stream. I'm gonna let you guys get back to what you're doing. I'm gonna wrap this up, but keep these in mind and go watch that video that I put out about the lunar eclipse that I have. It's called the Lunar Eclipse 2018, 100% proof the moon is not a sphere. I was very humbled and honored to have Eric Dubay comment on it, like and sub, and share the video. So if you guys would do the same thing, you know, I'd appreciate it, because this knowledge has to get out there. I've monetized it on my own channel, but I've given it to many people to share, and I'm not asking for nothing, because this is about the people. It's about us, right? I mean, it's about the fact that we're giving 60 million, or the Americans are giving $60 million a day of their tax money to this organization that just gives us cartoons, okay? And in Canada, we're feeling a little bit of a hit back from this, because NASA's preparing to close down, and that we build a lot of NASA's parts. We build a lot of drones, okay, for the U.S. military. So Canada's got his hands dirty, okay? But in no way, shape, or form are we seeing any of this contortion along the sphere. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, okay? As you're looking up at this rare event that we have no satellites orbiting right now, okay? Go to NASA Live. There's no coverage of this right now. I can show you right now. Let's play it. Oh, they're on a break. Sleeping at the monitor, I guess. It's not that important. I guess the amazing, super rare, you know, special for 3 reasons. It's not. I guess it's not important enough. So you can watch my video. There's many other videos out there. Keep it flat power, and to all you, everybody out there, peace and love. I don't care what you believe in, as long as it's peaceful, and we're in this together. You know, this lie is much bigger than, you know, debates. Okay, there's a flat Earth debate coming up between Brother Sanchez and Young Pharaoh coming up in February. I'm not sure of the exact date. It might get moved around, but you know, that's an exciting thing, and a lot should be hashed out. And I hope to see you guys there. Do your own knowledge. No flat earther is a flat earther because we looked at the flat Earth information. We're flat earthers because we looked at the globe information. Okay, and I don't even want to fully subscribe to the term flat earther. I am my own being, and I have my own thoughts about the physics of this. But as you look up today to the moon, just remember, you know, all the things I've talked to you about today, no satellites, the tides, why not more people are seeing this. You know, the moon is much lower and closer to the Earth than we've been taught, and it has its own blue, cool light. Okay, so flat powered out there to all y'all. I'm sorry I'm not checking the chat, but I know that I got my mods up in there, and I know I got some new subscribers up in there, and maybe some real questioners, truth seekers, and maybe even some haters. It doesn't matter. I love you all. All right, y'all. Peace and flat power.